Hey, this is Chris Trapani, the Mortgage Pro. You know, one of the most common questions that I'm asked about from people all over the country on my YouTube videos, as well as they call me and text me and email me, is they ask me about down payment assistance. Do these programs really exist? Well, yes, they do. Now, are they all great programs? Well, sometimes they are and sometimes they aren't. The truth is that there are good, bad, and ugly parts of most of these programs. Now, many of them, first-time homebuyer programs, they're often called, first-time homebuyer programs require a maximum income. You know, I've seen them at $60,000 or $80,000. I've also seen them at $150,000. And there are some programs that don't care what your maximum income is. Now, a lot of these programs are really designed for, you know, the guy family who's making $60,000, $70,000 a year, and they're trying to feed a family of four, and they just don't have enough money left over to save to be able to buy a house and to save that down payment. Hey, these programs are perfect for you. But let me teach you some things to look for in the programs. Some of these programs, it's actually a loan. And many of them, they're called silent seconds, a second mortgage. And some of them even have a silent third, a third mortgage to help cover the closing costs. So the down payment and the closing costs, and of course your standard loan. Most of them are tied to FHA loans. So that's a government program, FHA, and the requirement for a down payment assistance is the down payment must either come from a nonprofit or it must come from a government entity. So a state or a city, municipality, or a nonprofit company can also do these type of loans for you. And they can give you the money, because sometimes they actually give you a full grant. You never pay it back, ever. Sometimes it comes with a stipulation. Hey, you have to live there for 5 years or you owe us the money. So you've got to look for that. That could be a pitfall. Maybe you're looking at this as a 2-year stepping stone, but that program will require you to pay it back if you're not there long enough. And of course, there are the first, the second, and the third mortgages type of situation. Now, many of those loans are silent, meaning you do not make payments until you either sell the house, refinance the house, or pay the house off, whenever that is, in 20 years, 30 years, whatever the time frame. So they are real programs. Now, every state has their own programs, and many cities have their own programs. But remember, most of them are tied to a maximum income. Usually it's about whatever the median income is for the area. So that's something to look for. In the body of this text, we're going to have a list of programs from every state in the country. Some of them are going to have 2, some of them are going to have 1, some of them might have 5 or 6 different programs. Look in your individual state, figure out what's best for you. Now, here's the truth. If you have the down payment yourself, you are way better off putting your own down payment, because they have good, bad, and ugly. The good, hey, they get you in a house. They give you, lend you, whatever the story is for the down payment. But then the bad is the interest rate is usually higher. So if the interest rate is higher, obviously that's a challenge. Sometimes some of these programs you can refinance into the lower interest rate after like 6 payments. But sometimes you have to have more equity. It all depends on different situations that you need to consider. So look at that too. That's the bad. Here's the ugly. The ugly is the closing costs are usually much more expensive. Here in California, most times an average loan, $8,000 closing costs, because there are 25 people working on every loan, and those 25 people have to get paid, and there's a whole bunch of different companies, escrow and title and appraisal and notary, and of course the lender. There's all these different companies that have to get paid. So the money has to come from somewhere. Now, $8,000 is standard, and you also have taxes and insurance so that they're included in the payment. So we got to add that in. That's about $8,000. On these programs, it's very often going to be maybe $15,000 or $12,000, depending on the purchase price and your area of closing costs. So sometimes they'll lend you the money for the down payment or give you the money for the down payment But where's the closing costs coming from? So it used to be pre-COVID-19, what would happen is people would very often ask their agent, hey, can you ask the seller to pay? I only have $7,000, and we ask the seller to pay $8,000, and that'll cover the closing costs. Now, the truth is, pretty much around the country, certainly here in Southern California, there are 10, 15, 20 buyers for every house for sale. And that makes it a seller's market. And when that happens, sellers are just not really into paying an extra $8,000 because they have so many offers. Why should they take one where they have to give $8,000 or $7,000 away? So it's kind of the reality of today's market. However, you take a look, be aggressive, hire an agent who knows what they're doing, who is a great negotiator, and maybe we can get there. But as always, look at your closing costs first. Look at how much money you can actually come up with. Sometimes people can sell a car. Sometimes they can sell a boat. Sometimes they can sell a jet ski or a motorcycle or other things that are just things, but they're not a house. Wouldn't you rather have a house? Maybe you can come up with that money yourself. Maybe you can get a gift from grandma. You never know. If you can do it that way, my recommendation is do it that way. Call me, Chris Trapani. Call my staff, and we are ready to help you in every step of the way. You can fill out an application. All you got to do is go to my website, fireyourlandlord.info, click the apply button, get started today. Fill it out. We'll help you. We'll hold your hand through the whole process. Now, if you found this video helpful, do me a favor. Give it a thumbs up, give it a like, and you can also subscribe. You'll see all my other videos. If you want to leave a comment or have a question, just enter a comment. I'm really happy to answer. I answer every single question personally, and I'm happy to help you fire your landlord.